Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry about the shirt. Got my husband's shirt on and no makeup. It's fine. One of my goals this year was to be consistent no matter what. So this video was in the planner, so we're gonna do it. Baby sleeping and all. Okay, so one thing that one question my husband and I get a lot, or like people ask us, is like, because yesterday was our 30-year anniversary, so I decided this video would be perfect for now, is people will ask like, hey, like, when's the best time to have kids? Like, do you guys regret having kids right away? Or like, what's the pros and cons? So I'm gonna attempt to answer that question. Obviously I'm not an expert, but I'm just gonna base it off like my observations and kind of like our experience, okay? So I'm gonna start with, I have some notes here so I don't forget any of the points that I was thinking through. I'm gonna start with waiting to have kids, because obviously, if you know me and my husband, we got married January 2015, had a baby October 2015. So this is just based off observations and like kind of talking with my friends. And most of the people around us, they are married and they don't have kids. So just watching that. So I would say number one, you can make time to focus on one another. Obviously, like, you don't have kids running around. Like, you can go on date nights, you can take trips together, things like that. Number two is that you can adventure. Like, kind of like the last point is like, travel, like just try things together. Like, you don't have to arrange babysitting. Obviously you can travel if you have kids. It's just a little more difficult, right? Like babysitting, like if you're breastfeeding, like things like that. Number four, or number three, whatever number we're on, you can focus on your careers. If you both are working long hours, it's just a little different, right? Like, you still have to be strategic about spending time together, but like, if he's at work, like for instance, when my husband was working and I was working night shift and he was working like all day, we still found like I could just drive up there and have lunch with him or something like that. So you can focus on your careers, really build those up to where you want them to be. And then the biggest point, I guess, number five, I don't know what we're on, is that you can save money. You can get yourself in a better financial situation. So if anything, like if I were to do anything differently, it would be this one, because like, we didn't really go out. Like, nothing is really changing in our lives. So you have to ask yourself that question too. Like, do you both love to go out at night? Like, are there things you love to do right now, or your career is demanding stuff for you to do right now that you couldn't do with kids? Because like that's not really like, oops. She's always throwing her head. That's not really the case with us. Is like, yeah, we weren't really going to give anything up in those categories, but financially I'm all about it. So like, if you're single and you don't have kids, you can live like you're on one income even though you have two. So like, if one spouse has dreams of like being a stay-at-home parent or something like that, you can save, or you can buy a house, things like that. So those would be like the pros. The cons, I would say, is you can develop bad habits, like when it's just the two of you. So like, you can sleep till noon. Not saying it's a bad habit, but you're not gonna be sleeping till noon with kids. Or like, I will call my friends, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? They're like, oh, or they'll call me, they're like, oh yeah, we're on our way to the grocery store. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, you're not gonna be doing that with kids. So you can just, really start to like be relaxed with your time, and which is fine. Like, you don't have any kids, enjoy it. Number two is like, you can develop selfish habits, or just more like, oh, me time, or like, so then when kids do come in the picture, you feel like something is taken from you, so you can become more selfish, I guess to say. Yeah, because like with me and my husband, there's never been like a me time. Like, we understand like this season is busy, and so we're gonna give of ourselves, and yeah, we give each other space to take care of ourselves, but at the end of the day, like, this season is about growing our family, and we get that. We don't know anything different being married. So number three, a baby can shake up your marriage. It can have you like fantasizing pre-baby marriage, because I see couples who are going strong and then a baby comes in, they're like, oh man, it used to not be this way, and so we used to be great married. But it's like, no, it's just a season, and like, it doesn't mean your marriage is bad now, it's just different. So when I see people who wait, some people concern me, some couples, they're just so selfless anyways that they don't concern me. But some people, they get into their rhythms and they were waiting, and I'm like, okay, there's never a perfect time to have kids. So let's go into the cons of having kids right away. Money can be tight, right? Like, you're young, if you get married young, you're just starting out, there's things you want to do, money can be tight. That's just the bottom line. Especially if you decide, okay, I have a kid, and maybe you never thought you were going to stay home, but then you're like, I can never leave this baby, so now you're staying home. Number 2, someone's career is going to change. People tell you you can have it all. You can't have it all. You don't want it all either, because someone's career is going to change. I'll just put it that way. Corporate America is not really set up it's not set up for caregivers in any state. And I know a lot of companies are working on that, but it just is what it is. Yeah, that's a whole nother video for another day. Number 3, it can be hard on a new marriage because like you're still getting to know each other. You're still learning each other's habits. So then on top of newlywed stuff that you're working through, now you're working through like being married with a pregnancy. If there's complications, you're working through that. And then you get a new baby, and then like you're working through the sleepless nights and still trying to communicate and still trying to get to know your spouse. So you have a lot on your plate. It can be lonely. Number 4, like if you're the only one in that season, like nobody really understands you. They don't understand why you need to leave dinner at 7:30 because you got to get your kids in bed at 8, because if you don't get them in bed at 8, you're not gonna be able to do anything else for the rest of the week. So there's that. Number 5 is that like it can just be a lot of changes really, really fast. And that can be hard on some people. It's like, okay, we're married, boom, we're having a baby, boom, then we have 2, boom. And it's just like, that's a lot in Fast and Furious. And so if you're not intentional about sitting down with your spouse and being like, hey, how are you doing? How's the season been for you? How can I be a better partner for you? You'll catch yourself just going through the motions. Like one thing we struggled was I'm a schedule person. So I had everything scheduled, everything perfect. But at the end of the day, like, we were kind of just partners in it, and we weren't really, you know, enjoying the moment. So the pros, it was never about us, and we just get that. Like, when we got married, it was like, okay, we're pregnant. Okay, so it's never like we had to move our selfish ambitions aside to take care of our kids. So, number 2, you become a team. So either it can bring you apart or bring you together. And for us, it really, having kids brought us together. So we worked together more, and it just made us stronger. Number 3, you learn to be frugal and you learn to be creative because you didn't get that time to stash cash. You just learn to do what you need to do. You want to buy a house, you can still buy a house. It just looks different. You want to save money, you can still save money, pay off debt. You can still do those things. It just looks really different. And I love how creative it's forced us to get. Number 4, you make space for things further down the road. So my husband are young, and so we're having our kids now. So I mean, when our kids are older, we'll be able to travel, God willing, and just do things that we wanted to do. And then I think number 5 is like achieving goals looks different. Like, I want to grow my YouTube channel, so I can't just like go to a coffee shop, work on my YouTube channel. Like, I'm holding a baby and doing my YouTube channel. So it doesn't mean you can't reach your goals. They just look really, really different. And yeah, number 6, you become really intentional about like your marriage, because you know, like, I can't just be sloppy with my marriage or be looking crazy, right? Number 7, having babies, it just forces you into like just your calling. Like, it really makes you think about what you really want to do in life and what your husband really wants to do. Yeah, that's what I really love about it. It forces you to really, really reflect on life. So whatever you decide to do, like, it's up to it really is. You're going to make it happen. I remember TD Jakes in the interview was talking about the rhythm, like God has a rhythm for our lives, and we have to be in that rhythm of obedience to really do what he called us to do. And he was like, if my wife and I didn't have our kids when we had our kids, we would have been out of the rhythm, out of the beat of what God is doing. And I've always felt, my husband and I have always felt like God's calling us to have kids right now, because there's something that he needs us to do further down the line that we won't be able to do if we waited to have our kids. So just pray about it, really seek your heart, like, and just, I mean, write it down. Like, what are your visions and your goals? Like, when do kids fit in there? Know that there's never a perfect time to have kids. There's a better time, right? But whatever happens, I would say, yeah, just seek God for wisdom, and just, if it's something you want to do, just take that dive, and just know what comes with each side of that. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I would love to have you become a part of our family. And so I'll see you guys later. Love y'all. Bye.